So I thought I'd do a little series on bulletproofing your body, bulletproof bodies, I'm going to call it. I've recently had a couple of injuries. I've got this shoulder kind of impingement thing happening, which has forced me to really look at my training in my shoulder, and particularly how much I'm pressing and the lack of variety of movement that I do with my shoulder, or that I was doing with my shoulder. You know, the shoulder girdle is such a complex area, and there's probably more range of motion, or actually there is more range of motion at the shoulder joint than there is any other joint in the body. So it has this amazing amount of mobility, which is coupled with an inherent lack of stability. So with your training, it's really important to strengthen the shoulder through a full range of motion to make sure that your strengthening includes the whole shoulder girdle and movement of the whole shoulder girdle in as much range of motion, in as much complexity as possible. So these are some of the ways that I've been doing that. The first one is just with the club bell, and I'll show you a few different kind of variations of these movements. So from the simplest to the most complex and the most challenging. And this is a really light club bell. It's only 4 kilos, which you don't need a lot. I've got a 6 kilo one there too. I haven't gone beyond about an 8 with these movements, so you don't need a lot. But the first one is just to get the club bell swinging. You know, even just holding a club bell and getting it to move is tractioning your shoulder and activating a lot of the muscles through a full range of motion. It doesn't have to be full on, just swinging it gets mobility in there. You can then start to just bring it up through the fuller range of motion just here in the sagittal plane. Remember, like this movement, all these movements are not for shoulder rehab. This is not to do when you have shoulder pain. You know, I rehabilitated my shoulder first and got out of pain before I started to do this stuff. This is more prehab or preventative stuff. Just getting it swinging laterally is another movement again, and this is, you know, I'm using everything here. This is not just a shoulder isolation exercise. I'm using my trunk, I'm using my hips, I'm engaging my glutes, drawing my belly button in. You can then get a little bit more complex with this one and bring it into like a swing or a chop or whatever that would be called. But I've been doing this for high reps too, for like 30, 40, 50 reps, you know, and the idea is to just practice good alignment and just get the shoulder moving through as full a range of motion as possible. It's not about chopping as hard as you can or as fast as you can at this stage. You can do that later if that's what you need to do. But also make sure that you do this evenly on both sides, you know, and these are like amazing for coordination. My left side is a lot more uncoordinated than my right. My right side kind of swings really smoothly, but the left side just doesn't. I just whacked myself in the head. Some of the other movements I've been doing have been with the kettlebell. The advantage of a kettlebell, particularly with shoulder rehab, is that you can flip it upside down, which lengthens the lever from the top of the kettlebell to your shoulder. Is a much longer lever and is therefore much more unstable, and therefore requires much more activation of the rotator cuff. So that's the big thing with this, you know. The rotator cuff muscles, I always liken them to like the little gas kind of jets that you see on like when you see space shuttles docking with space stations. They have those little bursts like psh, 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 psh. So people, you know, you learn in anatomy that the rotator cuff is, you know, infraspinatus and teres minor are external rotators, and then supraspinatus or subscapularis is an internal rotator. When actually the role of the rotator cuff is just to keep the glenoid, to keep the humerus in the glenoid. So that as the humerus moves around with these movements, the rotator cuff has to do these fine little movements to keep it in place, and that's the whole role of the rotator cuff. So when you're doing a movement like a bottoms up press, which is with the kettlebell upside down, there's a much greater deal of instability that the rotator cuff has to be dealing with when you're pressing. So I've been doing these. I started just kneeling like so. I'm just making sure here that I'm pressing in the plane of the scapula, which is about 30 degrees from neutral. And that's the range that there is the least chance of impingement happening, the least chance of the humerus coming into contact with something. Oh, Lola. So again, I'd be doing really high reps with this. This, again, it's not something that you do if you have injury. Like, I know that I have proper mobility here. I can elevate my top rib really easily. I can keep full thoracic extension. I know that my scapula are moving well. And when I'm pressing, I'm just getting full range of motion, really shrugging my shoulder up as high as I can and taking it slow and controlling it. To make that a little bit harder, you can add another instability, which is to go on Swiss ball. You know, and this is engaging your trunk a lot more, engaging the obliques and the paraspinal muscles, multifidus. Because it is a lot more unstable and you've now got a load on one side of your body, everything on this side of your trunk has to work a lot harder. So with these, same thing goes. I've just been pressing slowly, getting a full extended position overhead, making sure that I'm drawing my belly button in and firmly planted on the Swiss ball. And I've been doing high reps, like 12, 15, even 20 reps at a super slow tempo like that. So give those a go. This is a way of kind of strengthening your shoulder against injury. You know, we tend to do in the gym a lot of overhead pressing out here in the frontal plane, and a lot of isolated stuff that strengthens the deltoid without a lot of respect for the deeper structures of the shoulder. So doing complex stuff like this is one way that you can help to bulletproof your shoulders. Thanks.